Okay, rock hard music time. I am your host, Rob, and I'm going to do another reaction because, oddly enough, I'm very much aware of a lot of the Kiss TV appearances throughout their career, including the Midnight Special. But honestly, other than just a few samples here and there, I've never really sat down and watched it. So I'm going to bring Black Diamond here and sit down here and watch and see the magic from 1975, July 11th, on Bert Sugarman's The Midnight Special. So here, without further ado, let's get to the hottest band in the world, Kiss.
On the street for a living, pictures only begun. Got you under their thumb. Hit it!
Okay, I'll tell you one thing I see right away. I miss Simple Kiss. As epic and cool as their stage shows have been for 50 years, there's something just cool about the candelabras, the stacks of Marshalls behind them, and of course not in this, but add the big original flashing Kiss logo. So much cooler than modern day TV screens for everything. I mean, it's impressive to see, but it's not the same. I mean, the earliest I saw Kiss was for the Creatures of the Night tour, and I was like 10. But I will never forget that flashing Kiss logo burned into my retinas as I was at home that night. I mean, it's just so much more a rock metal concert than with the TV screens and technology. It more becomes a Steven Spielberg production. Whatever, it's just my personal taste. Okay, there we have it. Black Diamond, 1975, and I've got several takeaways here. Number one, if I could go back, obviously I would, and if I was in charge, I would make several changes or prevent several things from happening with this band. Number one is the progression of the costumes. As odd as that sounds, yes, Gene had some cool stuff and whatever, but as the years went on, the bigger the costumes got. Not so much for Paul or Peter, but right, Ace's vest became this giant thing that made him look like he was a football player. Gene, same thing, giant cod pieces, big breastplates, and the boots got more and more extravagant. Just watching this, I would have said, keep it leather, keep it black, rhinestones, silver. Don't overdo it. Keep it simple. Same with the makeup, right? This is about where they're perfect. Gene has never looked more evil than with that version of his makeup, right? Where the bottom stopped and just had a little down and most of it was up top. I still remember as a kid with Alive 1, when you open that booklet it came with, and it had Gene sitting there in a weird position and with that makeup and then the rhinestones down the cod piece. It always freaked me out. He just looked so sadistically evil. And then he progressed to putting it down, and Ace put the blue eyeshadow on, and Peter added the green in there. Keep it simple, stupid, right? The logo, KISS. I mean, I know that's not what they intended it to stand for, but it's a thing. And they look way more badass and evil and heavy in 75 than, say, 78, let alone getting into Dynasty. So that's number one. Number two, I absolutely have always loved Peter's raw, throaty voice. I think it is just badass when he does ballads. It's a nice Rod Stewart-esque, rasp to it. I love when Peter sings. It's fabulous. Ace, I love that version of Ace. And I don't know when he stopped doing the down on the knees and bending back during his solos. I understand as a man of 50, there's no way he should be doing it now. But I don't seem to remember that progressing much further. And I certainly don't know if he ever did it. I never saw Frehley's Comet live or any of that stuff. Maybe some of you Ace buffs out there could let me know if he continued that post-KISS. I love seeing that. Paul with the swinging arms. It just is a badass looking band. And I have, like I said, another channel with reactions that I'm covering mostly modern bands. And by modern, I mean, 2000 on up for the most part. There's a lot of talented bands, but I read the comments, and most of the bands, even these new bands, are followed by people my age and older. And they're all just, oh, can you believe this person wrote this at this years old? And this is nothing new, man. KISS did this. KISS wrote most of their early stuff before they were KISS, which puts them in their late teens. No different. They're all marveling at the energy these bands have. Go back and watch KISS. And that's the thing that kills me, is they'll all say, hey, Rob, I've never been a real big KISS fan, but I can appreciate. How can you be 50 plus years old and not have some sort of knowledge of KISS? I get that the people who are, in their late 50s, early 60s were into Zeppelin and the Doors and Jimi Hendrix and all this stuff. But as something this different hits the scene, really raises the bar, how can you not be at least curious? I mean, most of these guys are talking like they've never really even seen or heard much KISS. How is that even possible when you're over 50 years old and a rock fan? You may have been stuck back then thinking, well, this is lame because they were challenging your favorite band, Led Zeppelin, and all that stuff. I get it. I was there with KISS as newer bands came out in the 80s, and I was, poo-pooing everything I could, basically because subconsciously I was probably threatened that someone was going to take away the biggest band in the world title from my band. But now, at 50 years old, when I go back, I really appreciate things that I never even gave two craps about, whether it's T Rex or the Doobie Brothers or whatever. How did they not reach a point in their lives where they could grow up, get over that bias towards their genre of music, and see why this band Kiss became such a huge phenomenon? It's amazing. I would encourage, if anybody is popping over here to watch this from my other channel and you have not even stuck your toe in the massive ocean that is a Kiss history of 50 years, you owe it to yourself. Put your bias aside and just start at the beginning, hit YouTube, and just watch a video here or there. I'm not asking you to buy albums. I'm not asking you to do anything really other than just spend a couple of minutes once in a while, check out different years, different videos. You'd be surprised at how many people have been that stubborn that they just have let some kind of stereotype or persona, block their ability to really discover what was probably the greatest, biggest, most influential band in history. And when I say that, I'm including the Beatles. I'm including Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones. Yes, they did their thing. But this is different than any of those bands I listed, even different than Led Zeppelin. This is bigger. It's more powerful. It was more of a machine. It was more of a spectacle. And the music was great. Whether you want to say it was a gimmick or not, like Paul and Gene say, after 50 years, you're not going to hang around with just a gimmick if the music sucks. I encourage everybody to give it a shot. This was amazing, even for me. Like I said, I'm going to go back now. I got real busy around the time the internet hit, right? And YouTube became big. I was living my life. So I didn't spend a lot of time, watching Kiss stuff because I was already a Kiss fan. I knew everything I needed to know. I knew all the songs, had all the albums, all that stuff. So I didn't really have any interest in going back and watching every little video clip that came out. But I am now. And like I said, I knew of this performance, but I never really sat down to watch it. So great performance. Really shows me, it brought out my preference right here, live. When I'm looking at old Kiss, I never knew I felt this way until I watched this video just now. Destroyer, Love Gun, the bigger, bolder, louder costumes that were Dynasty era. They should have never, ever moved away from just simple leather spandex and just simple boots, with a little bling on them or something. But the bigger cod pieces, the bigger chest plates, the bigger vests for Ace. I've seen a lot of 78, 77 concert videos. They look way more badass here. So anyway, just spending some time with you, bringing you the best band who has ever existed. And until next time, thanks for watching.